Hello, everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a beautiful friend with me today. Her name is Allison Maslan, and she is the CEO of Allison Maslan International. She is a global business mentoring company and is the #1 best-selling author of Blast Off. Her new book, which comes out right now, Scale or Fail, How to Build Your Dream Team, Explode Your Growth, and Let Your Business Soar, hits bookstores in October 2018. Allison has built 10 successful companies starting out at age 19, which is amazing. And her client list has included Ben & Jerry's, yum, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, and Charlotte Russe. Now she pays it forward, helping ambitious business owners around the world grow high revenue businesses and live passionate lives through the Pinnacle Global Network, which is her private mentoring and masterminding enterprise. Allison has been featured in Success, Fortune magazines, and Forbes magazines, and is a regular contributor to Entrepreneurial magazine. She's also a feature expert on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Fox across the US. Allison's journey is highlighted in the documentary Inspired by 11. So the topic today, which I'm super excited about, is how to use the law of attraction to create big picture vision of your life and your business. So Allison, welcome to the Quantum Success Show.
Oh, Christy, I am so excited to be here. And thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. So I would love it. 19, you started your first business. How did you get started on your business path? And what role did, I know you and I talk about that we both agree that's the inner and the outer game of success. So how did that contribute to your success?
Well, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family, and my father built a big chain of women's clothing stores, and he was always so passionate about his work, and I never once heard him complain. And just the energy that would come, the frequency that he was emitting, which I didn't know at the time, right, was that if you want something, go create it, because he was all about just making it happen. And I think, without him necessarily even saying it to me, I just picked that up from being around him. So
I just want to say something. That's really amazing that you had your dad as a mentor and as a really a teacher in that way. Because I always laugh that my dad was an entrepreneur too. He was a mechanical engineer, had his own business, and he had, instead of universal laws, he had Murphy's Law. So he had Murphy's Law posters. You know what I'm talking about? If something's going to go wrong, it will, and all that. So it was very, very negative, and he had to do it alone, and he wasn't very positive. He thought that, I'm doing this, but something's going to go wrong. So good for you that you had that at such a young age and in your life, that you had this role model to show you how to be creative and to tap into that creativity.
Yeah, super, super innovative. And, he didn't really know about these laws. He truly loved what he was doing. And so I thought, well, why wouldn't you go after, something that you want to do? But at 19, I really didn't know what I was doing or what I wanted to do in my life, like most people. And I ended up falling into creating a full service advertising and public relations firm. I had no experience at all. I was really, just people would say, do you do this? And I'd say, absolutely. And seriously, it was pretty much like that. And then I learned along the way, because I wasn't afraid to ask for help. And I would hang out at the radio station, the TV station. I had mentors from a young age. And I built up this, very successful business. I was 25 at the time by where it come into, its full form. And at that time, you would have thought that I was just, so happy. I was making money. I was traveling all over. And Christy, I had just hit a wall. I was miserable. I was exhausted. I was beyond burnout. My daughter was little at the time, and she wasn't even 2 years old. And I just thought, wow, if this is success, I don't even like this. And what's wrong with me, And I felt so guilty that I shouldn't feel this way, like you have all these wonderful things. But what was going on then was I really was out of alignment. I thought money was the thing that I was supposed to create, but I had lost my why, and I didn't feel that connection with people that I wanted. It was like I was just as good as the last marketing campaign. And so as the universe would have it, right, they were like, well, she's not listening, so we're going to wake her up. So I ended up having a terrible car accident. But it was really a miracle because it was a major, major wake up call. I ended up coming out of it okay. And yes, it was truly a miracle. And so it was just the light bulb came on and I said, that's it. And I walked away from everything, my business, my marriage. And I just said, gosh, life is too short. And I'm going to create the life that I want. And if money comes with it, that's going to be awesome. And so I examined what was working, what wasn't working, because some things were obviously working. And I ended up creating this method that I share in my brand new book, Scale or Fail, called the Scale It Method. And I went on and built 9 more companies that I have been very much in alignment with, that I've had so much fun. And now I get to help others do the same.
I love it. So you and I, we were discussing before the interview that one thing that we both have in common, one thing I share in Quantum Success, one thing that you share in Scale It or Fail It, right?
Scale or fail.
Scale or fail. Thank you.
That's okay.
Scale it or fail it. Set it and forget it. Is that we create a big vision for our life. And we live from that premise as our big why. So I'd love for you to talk about how that has affected you and how that has been a guidepost for you. Not so much a driver, but a guidance, a guide for you in your path.
Yeah, so I call it a big picture vision. I even really dive into this also in my first book, Blast Off, because it's kind of like if you're going to get into an Uber and you don't, or taxi, whatever, and you don't tell them where you want to go, you're going to be spinning in circles. And so I really like to see it in my mind first and really have a picture of what it is that I want to create. And I've used this in so many, I never knew anything about law of attraction. This is a long time ago, but I would find that if I could create a picture in my mind and feel that if I was there, I didn't have to know the how. I didn't have to know all the steps, but all of a sudden I would meet the person that would introduce me to the person that I needed that was going to help me get to that place.
Yes.
Yes. And so that has happened time and time again. And I've had, when I get off of that big picture vision, I can see where, times in my life and with my clients as well, where things just stop, like that flow of energy just stops. Mm-hmm. I remember like 2009, 2010, you remember when the whole real estate, everything was, the economy was collapsing. And at the business I was running at the time, I was a homeopathic physician, seeing lots of clients and people were coming in going, oh, it's doom and gloom. And, it's just going to be really bad. We're going to lose everything. And so me being in alignment, I was like, la, 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 la. I am not taking that on. This is your stuff. I get this. This is your story. Let's figure out a remedy for you. Like all that kind of stuff. And so then after a while, but they just kept coming in and they kept saying it. And, my phone was always busy with the ringing. And we had just built a new office. And all of a sudden one day, Christy, the phone stopped ringing. Like it slowed down and then it came to a stop. And my assistant, Julie, she's like, Allison, what's going on? Like the phone's not ringing. I go, I know. I must be buying into all the stuff that people are saying. Like I really got that I started picking up on that fear that they had. And in that moment that I recognized it, I went to the beach, I sat, I meditated, and I visualized my why. I got into a feeling space of seeing people getting well and feeling good, and all of the things that I was helping them do. And the very next day, the phone started ringing again, and then it started getting really busy. And Julie calls me. She goes, "What did you do?" She goes, "You went and meditated, didn't you?" I go, "Yep." So it's yeah. So I've seen that over and over, and in scaling a business, there's all kinds of strategies that you got to put into place. But having that, understanding that you don't have to push the boulder up the hill. I mean, I work hard because I love it, not because I feel like I'm being dragged along.
Yes. I have the philosophy, I work because I want to, not because I have to. And it is like that. And when I do lose connection to the big why or the big vision, it feels like it's so much effort. And then I just remember, I'm out of alignment with that. What is my why? What is my big vision? And then I can ease my way into it. And like you said, it's like almost if by magic, almost instantaneously, things shift around. And I love that story. That is such a beautiful story. And it's such a example of what we've been talking about alignment and momentum. And, it's like you could have kept doing, but you recognize it was your own energy, your own fear. You released it, got back in alignment, and then boom, it's like the floodgates opened again. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And what's interesting too, Christy, is that it is such an important thing and such an important point, because when I talk to clients and they're having trouble getting more business, or they're having trouble with employees or whatever, I always say, go back to your big picture vision. Go back to your why. They're like, I don't have time to, because I'm working on, putting this sales page together and all of these things. I'm like, yeah, those are important, but do this first.
Yes.
Make sure you stay connected to that vision and what it is that you want to create and why.
It's so true. I mean, because everything is energy. And that's one of the first steps I put in Quantum Success too, because it's like, if you don't have that big vision when things aren't going your way or not going the way you want, or contrast is showing up, you've got to have something that's just that you're so focused on that's going to get you over that. That's bigger than the obstacle. And, that can help feed that in you, and the feeling that you want and that you get fed by when you have that why is like, it's life-giving, it's energy. It's just, it could source you in those times of contrast.
It's exciting. It's exciting and it's enlivening,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just want to ask you about your new book, because this is really exciting, because I know that you have amazing information. So like we were talking about, not everybody has a business, but everybody does want to have more success. And so I would love for you to give just a tip or two, of how to create more success and be able to create more in your business or in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book is called Scale or Fail, and it is what I teach, the Scale It method. And what scaling really is about is elevating to the next level. It's like multiplying your success without having to, multiply the effort, really. And that applies to anywhere in your life. So it's it's an acronym, as strategic vision. That's your big picture vision, your why. Cash flow, right? Because we need to create and attract money to make things happen.
Yes.
Alliance of the team is having that team around you to support you, because it's not a solo game in life. Relationships are important, but you want to attract the right people that are going to lift you up. You want to attract, if it's your business, you want to attract people that take responsibility, who are committed, who are passionate. If it's, that you're wanting to attract in your career, the right people, you want to attract the right people that are going to open doors for you, or they're going to be supporters or mentors. So that's the team. Then it's leadership. The L is leadership. And that's really about taking responsibility, which I know you talk a lot about. That's where it all begins.
Yes.
And that's moving from being a boss to a leader. And, for myself, I remember the day in my business, in one of my businesses where I was in my office, I was working really hard, and I used to come into the office and not even really talk to anybody. And it isn't that I didn't love my team, but I was so focused in just getting stuff done. And I had this epiphany moment. I looked out my window at my office and I saw everyone working on stuff. I had no idea what they were doing. And then I thought, they have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm thinking they're not getting their stuff done. And I realized it was me. It was me. I wasn't being a very good leader. I wasn't really inspiring them. I was just telling them what to do. And so what I do know, and after all these years in business, over 30 years, anything that's really going wrong in my company, it's my fault.
Yeah.
I am the first to admit it. It's not easy to look in the mirror sometimes, but it's very freeing because I know that if I created this, I can also turn it around.
I love that. And that's one of the reasons, I know you got an E too, but that's one of the reasons I love working with the universal laws, is because you can't cast blame. You can't play the victim. If you want something to change, you have to be responsible and take responsibility for it. And the only thing that we ever have control over is ourselves anyway, and our own responsibility and our own energy. And that's why I love that. So I love what you're saying. So thank you.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to let so-and-so off the hook. But the truth is that it's very freeing because you chose to be in that situation. I mean, in my ex-marriage, I have no regrets. I learned so much from it, even though we weren't a right match. And I chose to be in that situation. So I could sit here and be angry and all the blame, but where is that really going to get me? It's going to keep me stuck in that situation, right? So E is execution. That's where, the rubber meets the road and you get into action and you make it happen. Because,
love it.
Yeah, it's like you could be just only meditating and only planning. And I say, don't worry, be crappy. Just get it out there and you will learn along the way. And so that's the scale. That's an acronym for scale. And then I also have a couple chapters. I have a chapter on wealth and abundance, and also on the health of a business owner and the importance of self-care in your journey.
I love that you're saying that, because I was just talking to someone the other day. I was just on an interview and I was saying, our ability to stick to a vision, to dream big, to be positive, to create alignment. If our bodies feel bad, we're not going to be able to do that. If we are not getting sleep, if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're caffeinating ourselves to death instead of actually taking a rest for a few moments, and doing the things that are out of alignment with self-care, the things that we manifest are going to reflect that as well. Because, when you feel good, I know what I'm like when I have a bad night's sleep. And the next day, I'm not as focused. I'm not as patient. I'm not as happy. I'm not as, oh, yes, let's go. I'm not as inspired. But when I get a good night's sleep and I feel good and I'm feeding my body with good stuff and I'm, getting exercise and I feel like I'm not overworking myself, when I'm taking care of myself, then I'm naturally more positive and more inspired. So I'm so grateful that you included that in your book.
Well, it's just important. It's crucial. And as I was a homeopathic physician for many years. I've had several different companies, and it's actually how I ended up getting into the business mentoring, because people were getting well and going, I don't know what to do next in my life. And I would say, well, why don't you just do this, this, this? And they said, why don't you show me? So it just evolved that way. But, I've been there. I've been a workaholic. I've been where, at burnout before. And even if you love what you're doing, I call it, it's the back end of passion. Even if you're so passionate about something, you can still burn out.
Yes.
And so you have to fuel yourself and definitely I'm the same way. If I'm not getting good sleep, forget about it. It's not a pretty thing. So I need that 7-8 hours. And so even if I'm working late, I will try to adjust my schedule the next day so that I can get that. It just, and launching a book, as you know, you've done 3. This is my 2nd book. It takes a lot of energy to do that. And so, your business is not going to fall apart. Your career is not going to fall apart. Your relationship's not going to fall apart if you put it down and you just go to sleep and get that rest.
It's so true. My last book launch, I got pneumonia and I was so sick that I almost was hospitalized. And it was it wasn't like I felt like I was pushing myself, because I love what I do. And I was interviewing and I was doing all these things, but I was so run down. And again, it wasn't like I felt run down. I just kept going and going because I love it. Like you said, it's a back end of passion. I was so passionate about what I was doing. And I was so moved by the movement I was creating about this conversation of having it all. And that's when I had to say, okay, I can't fill every single moment of my day doing something towards my career that I'm not with the kids or not with my husband. I have to take some space to actually go eat lunch or give myself a pee break or go drink some water or take a walk so now I'm very much, my schedule is cushioned with Christy time so that I'm not go like I used to do. And that obviously took, something like getting pneumonia and I'm almost being hospitalized to wake me up, and I'm grateful that it did because the things that I'm passionate about and the things that I love doing are still going to be there tomorrow. So
definitely. And, another thing is I've learned to be a master delegator, and whether you have a business or not, you figuring out what are your priorities, what is most important that you want to accomplish, and you focus on that, and that generally will manifest, the support that you need, but you have to be willing to ask for the help.
Absolutely.
And so that you're not running all over the place. You have people to support you or to get you to, if you have a goal that you're trying to reach, that, someone's helping you clean the house or whatever it is. But, I'm always looking at what are the 3 things that take up most of my time, and how can I get that off my plate? That's a lot of conversation that I have. And so many people think, well, I can't do that. I can't let go of this. It's not true. That's a story that you're telling yourself. That's that limiting belief. But what would happen if you did, So that can be a game changer.
It is a game changer. I did the exact same thing. I remember that moment in my business where I'm like, why am I doing the bookkeeping? I hate doing bookkeeping. I'd rather pull out my eyelashes one by one than sit here and crunch numbers. I like looking at the numbers, knowing the numbers are important. But doing the bookkeeping and adding everything together and, I'm like, oh, I hate this. So I could be doing something I love and someone that's skilled in bookkeeping could be doing what they love. And it felt so good. It felt so good to release that I was like, where else could I do it? I was like, all I want to do, and that's my philosophy, all I want to do in my business is teach and write and heal and, do the things that are what I'm naturally gifted at and that I love doing. And that's also going to bring income into the business. So that all the other stuff, whether it's maintenance of websites and all these other things like uploading and downloading these videos every Sunday before they come out, I have a team that does that. So I don't have to.
No, thank you. I know. And they're way better at than me. They're, they're
exactly.
so much longer. Exactly. And then,
Absolutely.
Those things stop you for what you're meant to do, which is help a lot of people. So.
Absolutely. So we're going to put a link underneath the video for your book, but you also have a gift to give everybody, which we'll also put a link underneath the video. So can you share what your gift is?
I do. I'm excited about it. So whether you have a business or you're thinking that you would like to have a business or you want to take your career to the next level, I am sharing with you a 5-part video series to scale your business, to scale your life. And really, this is a whole training course. You get videos, you get the downloads, and I think you have the link for that, right?
Yes,
Christy,
absolutely. We're going to put that right underneath the video. So all you have to do is go right into the video.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
you'll learn my scale it method. I will teach you, and then you can, I'm sure you'll share information about the book, but those together and with the work you do, Christy. So it's just they're a perfect match.
Perfect companion. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the Quantum Success Show, Allison. I'm so grateful for our connection, our friendship, and really looking forward to co-creating with you in more ways as we move into, our friendship together. So thank you for being on the show, for all of your wisdom, and appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you, Christy. This has been so much fun, and I feel the same way too. Everything we do is so much in alignment.
Yes.
And I love it.
Yeah, me too. So for the rest of you, my family, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you're taking away. I'd love to hear back after you've gone through Allison's 5 video series. I'd love to hear what you got out of it. And, after you read her book, what shifted in you. So please give me feedback. It's the best way to continue our conversation, so I know what's happening with you and how I can support you in the future. So thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought. Leave me a comment below, and be sure to share and tag your friends. And be sure to check out my other videos here and on this site.